Right, let's touch on Man United then, because I don't think it was the best game. But also you have to appreciate that they are now, this is their first year where they're having to contend with Champions League fixtures. So obviously they had the home game on Tuesday against PSG. Rach, talk to me a little bit, before we get stuck into the Leicester side of things, talk to me a little bit about how you felt watching that first half of Man United PSG. Game under the lights on a Tuesday. This is where you insert tumbleweed.
It was probably one of the worst performances I've seen from Manchester United.
Don't go in too hard now.
I was at times regretting my 5-hour drive up on a Tuesday, like a second time in 5 days. But second half, bloody hell, more
Wasn't
than
it?
made up for it. Great crack that was.
And what
Really
was the
enjoyed
difference? Geyse.
Yes, change in personnel. I think Sophie said this to me. Normally, Manchester United aren't necessarily a kind of a reserved team in terms of like defending from the front.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Skinner tried to do that. And it didn't work. He had players out of position and it wasn't working. PSG kind of came all out.
Mm-hmm.
But also credit to recognising that, making the right changes and keeping themselves in the tie, because to keep themselves in the tie in that first half was huge.
Massive.
And the changes they made in the second half, really good second half.
My biggest question for Skinner really is, I don't get the strategy. I don't.
What are you doing?
What? Yeah. How is it? Do you put all the players?
What is who do what?
Do you put all the players in little balls, and then do you put them in a black bag and then jiggle them around and have a member of staff pick out the balls and put them into a little slot? Like how...
That's what Arsenal did at the end of their match. How did we end up with 7 forwards? Who picked the team?
Is that what's happening? Because that is the only way that I can really justify the new approach, I think, to that. And I get there has to be more squad rotation. You've got more fixtures this year, and I know that
but it's the beginning of the season.
But it is early. It's early doors. So when I was looking at the lineup and I was seeing, Jay-Z's not starting. You got
in the team.
He is. Yeah, you've got.
We're talking Champions League. Sorry.
Yeah, Champions League. Sorry. You've got like really good quality players that are sitting on the bench. Then you've got Jade Riviera, who's kind of trying to do what she can.
Do you want your first start? Here you go. You're in the wrong position. Good luck.
Yeah. Just one of our most competitive games of the season. A historic game for us. All of us are going out for the first time ever that the club's got into European football. And you throw this girl on, give her absolutely no clue, and then you're shouting at her from the sidelines and she was lost. She was completely lost in this role. And then obviously you make the changes at half time, but by that point you're 1-0 down, backs against the wall, you're going squeaky bum time, and everyone good throwing the kitchen sink it in the second half, but there was a completely different team. It's just, what are you doing? And then flip forward to the Leicester game, maybe he got a spice of what we all felt. A game against Leicester is probably one of those where you're like, it should be fairly straightforward.
We don't even need JC in the team.
Put her on send her home. Don't worry. Put your feet up, love. Absolutely fine. Like, what's going on? This is not the year. This is not the year to not be starting your strongest squad every single game. Unless there's an issue, and I appreciate maybe there's a sense of having to manage minutes because
She had a
they
dead
do have
leg,
the fixture.
but in the press conference, I swear he was like, "Nah, it's not a big deal. She's grand." So we spoke about confidence for Leicester, and what is important in the early part of the season. And look, we always were calling for rotation. I'm fully aware that I do call for that, absolutely. But in a situation where you're playing like your PSGs and you want to build your confidence, you want your forwards feeling confident, scoring goals. There's a lot of rotation up front. We saw it in the Leicester game as well. They were hitting every fucking inch of that crossbar and goalposts and not actually getting it in the goal. And there is an element of, do you not maybe start your best number 9, get them to be scoring goals, get that confidence up so that when you're going away then to PSG, they're like, yeah, I've just scored 3 goals.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm up for it. Let's go. But yeah, you're also, I guess, managing new tactics, and it's a new, thing for Mark Skinner to be managing 2 Champions League games either end of a week with a game in the middle, and I appreciate that, but yeah, some questionable tactics.
Talk to me though, because when Skinner saw what Man United were capable of in that second half, would you not be thinking,
let's put that team out again?
By God, I think we've cracked it.
By golly. Yeah, well,
And then,
but like and
no.
this is and like he said this. I swear to God, he must have said it about 5 times in the pre-match press conference. If we reach that level, we want to aim for that level. If we get to that level again, second half, that level, no one's going to be able to compete with us. Let's put out a different team and reach that level again, and it didn't work. Yeah.
I don't understand. So I think now it's going to be very interesting to see what they put out, what Skinner puts out tomorrow. Obviously, the second leg of their first Champions League entry. Obviously, it all comes down to a goal, essentially.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's going to be a great little fixture.
Yeah, and the PSG fans, last time I was there, are
Raucous.
unreal.
Raucous.
They're out with their shirts off and their drums banging. It's like, and massive flags, and like, oh, it was so cool. So that's another thing they have to contend with. But they're also coming from Lee Sports Village, which generally is pretty loud. So, you know,
the
but
Barmy Army will be making their flights over to Paris.
it's gonna be, I'm looking forward to this one, and I'm so glad, because when I was looking at that first half, I was thinking they're gonna be out of this tie before they even get to PSG, get to Paris. And then they come out and play like that.
I only think Skinner's choice on personnel will be validated if he's completely rested JC for the Leicester games. But you know what? It's more important, Champions League, and she starts
and scores a hat-trick.
Yeah, 100%, absolutely, and takes them through into the group stages. And I think that would be absolutely phenomenal.
You'll be coming in next week going, do you know what?
Skinner?
By golly, I think he's cracked it.